The night side of the Hellion sector was usually silent, cold, and empty. Patrol ship Voral 7 moved through the dark space with slow and steady motion, its engines humming like a tired machine. The crew expected another boring shift, another long watch with nothing to report. But this night was different. This night, space itself felt strange. Lieutenant Serac was the first to notice it. He looked at the scanner panel and saw the waves on the screen jump in a way they never had before. At first he thought it was an error, maybe a glitch, but the signal became stronger and stronger. "There is something here," he said in a low voice. Captain Rayla turned her head sharply. "What kind of something?" Serac swallowed. "A mass field disturbance, something big, but I cannot see it." The captain walked to the main screen. Space was empty, but the stars looked slightly blurred, like something heavy was bending the light around them. Her voice grew tense. "Is it cloaked?" "No known cloak can hide a mass of this size," Serac answered. The silence inside the ship became heavier. Even the engines seemed to quiet down, as if they too were waiting. Then space in front of them rippled. The stars stretched into long lines. A deep vibration shook the ship, and from the center of the disturbance, a shape slowly appeared, first as a shadow, then as metal, then as a fully visible warship. The crew gasped. The vessel was huge, far larger than anything humans were known to build. Its surface was old, covered in scars, burn marks, and strange black symbols. But the most shocking part was the marking on its broken hull. United Human Defense Vessel. Horizon Relic. Captain Rayla's breath froze. "This is impossible. Humans do not have this technology. They do not build ships like this. They cannot cloak." But the ship in front of her was real, and it was awake. That the warship lit up with soft blue lights along its edges, like the eyes of a creature rising from long sleep. An energy field expanded from its core. Voral 7 shook again, almost losing balance. "Captain," Serac shouted. "It is scanning us." Rayla stood straight, fear cold in her chest. "Send identification. Do not move weapons. Do not provoke." The communication officer tried to send signals, but her voice broke. "Captain, it sent us a message." Rayla turned slowly. "What message?" The officer's hands trembled as she played the audio. A deep, distorted human voice echoed through the ship. "Return what you stole." The words were simple, but they carried the weight of centuries. The crew felt the chill. Something old had woken up, something angry. Rayla stared at the strange ship. "We did not steal anything," she whispered, more to herself than anyone else. But the warship did not care. Its engines roared softly, vibrating through space like a warning growl. A giant weapon on its side began to open, a long cannon glowing with red heat. Serac panicked. "Captain, that is a Planet Breaker class weapon. That is impossible. Humans never built such a weapon." "But it is charging." Rayla had seconds to decide. She opened a channel and shouted, "Human vessel Horizon, we do not understand your request. Please respond." The ship responded, but not with words. A bright red beam lit up inside the cannon. Energy surged like fire, ready to burst through metal. The crew stared ahead in horror. The human vessel was preparing to fire. Rayla whispered, "Why? Why would humans attack?" Serac answered with shaking voice, "Captain, maybe this is not an attack. Maybe this is a warning." The light from the beam grew, brighter and brighter, and then the screen went white. The council chambers on Primus 9 were tense. Holographic screens hovered above the long table, showing reports from Voral 7 and other patrol ships, all describing the same impossible event. A human warship, ancient and powerful, decloaking in restricted space, demanding something lost centuries ago. Councillor Mahn clenched his fists. "This cannot be happening," he said, his voice tight, trembling with fear. "Humans, we thought they were weak, primitive. We erased their history. We controlled them. How is this possible?" A younger councillor spoke up, his voice shaking. "The records are clear. 3 centuries ago, the Earth Project discovered something forbidden, something we confiscated. The council sealed all knowledge of it. Humans were told they were alone, weak, nothing. And yet," he hesitated, "they remember." Mahn slammed his palm on the table. "We hid everything. We destroyed their knowledge, erased their technology, even removed children who could access the void fire." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the story, but few dared speak it aloud. The void fire was a weapon of immense energy, capable of consuming entire star systems. Only humans could wield it naturally, and the council feared it too much to let the species flourish. Outside the chamber, humans were moving again. The Horizon Relic glided silently through the void, carrying one precious cargo, a girl, taken by the Council centuries ago, stolen from Earth before humans even knew their power. She had been hidden on a secret world, trained in the ways of the Council, yet she had never forgotten. Her mind had begun to awaken. Dreams of fire, of stars burning, of commands flowing from her hands, filled her every sleep, and now, the ship carrying her had decloaked, signaling the galaxy that the forgotten past was about to return. Back on Primus 9, Counselor Mahn waved a trembling hand. "We must recover her, before she remembers everything," but his words fell on deaf ears. The Council's fleets scrambled, sending ships after the Horizon Relic, but the humans moved faster than anyone expected. The warship seemed alive, reading the cosmos, avoiding patrols, slipping through gravitational fields no ship should survive. Captain Rayla and her crew of Voral 7 were still reeling from their encounter. They had been the first witnesses to the human return, and fear lingered in every corner of their ship. Why would they demand the return of a child? Serac asked. His voice trembled. A human child? What does that even mean? Rayla's eyes darkened. "The child is not ordinary," she said. "Whatever the Council stole centuries ago, they stole power. Humans are coming to reclaim it." The Horizon Relic cut across the stars, silent and unstoppable. Its presence alone made the galaxy hold its breath. Rumors of human weakness and fragility had been shattered. They were no longer a minor species. They were predators who had been underestimated for centuries, and the Council had forgotten one rule. Humans never forgot. Humans never forgave. The girl on board stirred. Her eyes opened wide, glowing faintly as memories long suppressed flooded her mind. Names of planets, energy core, battles she had never lived, yet remembered as if she had. The void fire hummed within her, tiny at first, then growing, pulsing like a heartbeat. The Horizon Relic's engines flared. It sent a signal to the galaxy. Return what you stole, or face the consequences. Primus 9 quaked under fear. Fleets were mobilized, weapons loaded, but no one could guess what awaited them. The humans they had ignored, laughed at, and hidden from the galaxy were now awake, and the first strike was coming. Counselor Mahn whispered to himself, staring at the holograms of fleeing patrol ships. "We should have remembered. We should have known the price of our silence." But the Horizon Relic was already gone from their scanners, moving toward its target, carrying the girl whose name no one remembered, wielding the power no one dared control, and carrying the fury of a species betrayed. The galaxy had thought it understood. Humans, weak, simple, predictable, but it had been wrong, catastrophically wrong, hidden in secret systems. Fleets of human vessels stirred. They had been silent for centuries, preparing, training, and building in secret. Ships of all sizes, sleek and fast, appeared from nowhere, decloaking in the shadows of asteroids and dead stars. Each vessel carried weapons unlike anything seen before, not just tools of destruction, but machines designed to adapt, to learn, to fight back smarter and faster than any alien fleet could. Captain Rayla of Voral 7 watched the displays, her hands frozen on the console. How is this possible? Humans, they are everywhere now. Serac shook his head. They learned while we slept. Every time we moved, every strategy we used, they watched and adapted, evolved faster than any species should. On board the Horizon Relic, the girl who had been stolen centuries ago began to rise fully. Her body glowed faintly with void fire, the forbidden energy pulsing in tune with her heartbeat. Memories long buried filled her mind, names, places, moments of betrayal, and with each memory, her power grew stronger. "Guide me," she whispered to the ship. "Show me the way." And the ship obeyed, bending its trajectory through asteroid fields, weaving past fleets sent to intercept it, faster than thought possible. Elsewhere, human frigates, decloaked above patrol worlds. Aliens scrambled, firing weapons blindly, but humans had learned to anticipate every move. Ships moved like shadows, phasing in and out of reality for a brief moment, striking with precision, then disappearing again. The galaxy began to understand the truth. Humans were predators in disguise. Weakness had been a mask. Patience had been a weapon. And the one thing no one could stop was their ability to learn and adapt. The kidnapped girl, now fully awake, reached out with her mind. Energy rippled through the void. Systems overloaded. Ships on the other side of the galaxy reported strange phenomena. Shields failing. Engines burning out. Communication grids collapsing. Humans were not just fighting fleets, they were reshaping the battlefield itself. Captain Rayla's console blinked frantically. Serac, they are using the void fire remotely. The child, she is controlling entire fleets. Sarac's eyes widened. We thought they were primitive. We thought we could contain them. We were fools. Back on Primus 9, Counselor Marn watched the fleets crumble in simulations, unable to intervene fast enough. Send more ships, he ordered. Stop them. Stop the humans. But it was too late. The humans were already at the gates of Council Prime. Their warships moved as one, a coordinated storm of steel and fire. The Horizon Relic led the charge, the girl's void fire guiding every strike. Alien defenses melted like ice in the sun. The first wave of council ships was destroyed before they could even react. Messages from the battlefield came in fragmented bursts. No human will stop. No fleet will hold. Rayla stared at the chaos. They fight like nothing I've ever seen. They do not retreat. They do not surrender. They learn, and they strike back harder every time. Serac swallowed. Captain, we underestimated them for centuries, and now, they are unstoppable. The Horizon Relic moved forward, silent and deadly, carrying the girl and centuries of human wrath. The galaxy had forgotten them. The galaxy had ignored them. And now, the galaxy was paying the price. The first strike against Council Prime had begun. Blood, fire, and power surged across the stars. Humans were no longer the hunted. They were the hunters. And nothing in the galaxy could predict what would happen next. Council Prime was a shining world, a jewel of civilization, surrounded by fleets and defenses designed to protect it from any threat. But no defense could stop the humans. The Horizon Relic hovered at the edge of the system, silent and dark. Its weapons glowed faintly, powered by the void fire that pulsed within the girl on board. She had awakened fully now, and her presence alone made stars tremble. Do you feel it? She whispered to the ship. They hid the truth from us. For centuries, the ship responded with a low hum, as if agreeing, as if it too remembered the betrayal of humans by the galaxy below. Fleets scrambled to form battle lines, but human vessels moved faster than thought possible. They slipped through energy shields, phased past turrets, and struck with precision that no council simulation had ever predicted. Every human ship acted like an extension of the girl's mind, each attack deliberate and devastating. Captain Rayla's 407 tried to intervene. We have to warn the others. This is unlike anything I've seen. Serac nodded, fear in his eyes. They are perfect predators. They learn from every attack, every move, and strike where it hurts most. On Council Prime, the Council watched in horror as their fleets were destroyed, one by one. Marn's voice shook. Send reinforcements. Protect the core. We cannot let them reach the city. But the humans were already inside the defensive perimeter. The Horizon Relic led them, silent and unstoppable. The girl raised her hands, and the void fire pulsed outward like a heartbeat of rage. Entire energy grids overloaded. Weapons melted. Ships were thrown into the void like toys. The Council's greatest mistake had been underestimating humans. They had believed humans weak, slow, and forgetful. They had erased their history, hidden their power, and stolen their knowledge. And now, the price of that silence was clear. The girl stood on the deck of the Horizon Relic, her eyes glowing red, power flowing through her veins. She could feel the pain of centuries, the theft of knowledge, the betrayal of her species, and she could feel the galaxy trembling under her power. She did not hesitate. Void fire surged outward, ripping through defensive grids, tearing fleets apart, and turning the Council's precious cities into chaos. Humanity's hidden power, long suppressed, finally revealed itself. Marn's voice was barely a whisper. We cannot stop them. We were fools. Captain Rayla watched helplessly from Voral 7. They never stop, she said. They never forgive. They never forget. We underestimated them. And now, we will all pay. The Horizon Relic moved toward the center of Council Prime, carrying the girl and the centuries of anger humanity had kept buried. Each step, each pulse of the void fire, reminded the galaxy of a simple truth. Humans had survived because they were stronger than anyone expected, smarter, faster, relentless. As the first wave of destruction tore through the city, the humans paused, not in fear, but in calculation. They were not cruel, they were precise. Every strike was measured. Every attack had a purpose. The Council had forgotten one rule. When humans fight, they fight with everything. When humans rise, they rise without mercy. And when humans remember, The galaxy pays the price. The sky above Council Prime burned red with energy, and for the first time in centuries, humans declared themselves not as weak prey, but as unstoppable hunters. Council Prime was in flames. Towers crumbled, fleets lay shattered, and the sky burned red from the energy of the Voidfire. But the Horizon Relic still sailed through the chaos, carrying the girl who had become the embodiment of humanity's wrath. Her power surged, but she was in control. Every pulse of Voidfire was precise, calculated, a reminder of what humans could do when pushed too far. The Council's leaders cowered in their chambers. Maan stared at the devastation, shaking. We created this. We erased them. We stole from them. And now we are nothing before their might. Outside, human ships moved as one, a storm of steel and willpower. Smaller worlds joined the strike, revealing that humanity had hidden entire fleets across the galaxy. They had waited. They had learned. They had prepared. The girl raised her hands, and a massive pulse of Voidfire ripped through the Council's final defenses. The core of Council Prime began to collapse. Some of the Council's ships fled, but most were destroyed. Entire planetary grids overloaded, and the world shook like it had been struck by a god. Captain Rayla watched in disbelief. They didn't just fight. They are rewriting everything. They are unstoppable, she whispered. The girl looked at the burning Council city. She could have destroyed everything, ended every life, but she hesitated. Humans were not monsters. They were survivors, fighters, protectors of their own kind. She turned the Voidfire inward, targeting the stolen technologies, the weapons, the chains the Council had placed on her people for centuries. The core exploded in a controlled blast. Fires roared across the city, but the girl ensured no innocent human lives were lost. Still, many Council forces fell, and their fleets were destroyed. The galaxy trembled at the display. Across distant systems, ships that had once mocked humans recorded the event in silence. They had underestimated a species that had been ignored for too long. From the wreckage of Council Prime, a broadcast echoed. The girl's voice, calm and commanding, reached every corner of the galaxy. Never ignore a species ready to bleed for freedom. Never underestimate what you do not understand. Humanity has returned, and we will decide our own destiny. In the aftermath, humans regrouped. Their fleets remained hidden in secret systems, but the galaxy knew the truth. Humans were not weak. Humans were not primitive. Humans were the force that had survived centuries of oppression, hiding in plain sight, and rising stronger than anyone could imagine. The Horizon Relic hovered in orbit above the shattered city. The girl looked at the stars, her expression calm but determined. Humanity had paid a price to be recognized, but they had survived. They had risen, and now the galaxy would remember them. Captain Rayla of Voral 7 whispered to her first officer, "We thought we knew humans. We were wrong. They are extraordinary." Serac nodded slowly, his face pale. They fought not just for power, but for respect, for survival, and no one in the galaxy will forget it. The girl turned her gaze outward, toward distant stars. There would be more challenges ahead, more battles, and more tests of human will. But humanity had proven one thing: they never surrendered. They never forgot, and when pushed to the edge, they would rise. Unstoppable, across the stars, the message was clear. The galaxy could no longer ignore humanity, and the blood spilled today was a warning, a reminder that when humans fight, they fight not just for themselves, but for the legacy of their species. The stars burned, fleets lay in ruins, and humans, once invisible and ignored, had become the reckoning across the cosmos.